Donald, nice to talk to you.
Hi, Greta.
All right, well, the pilgrimage continues. This time, Representative Michelle Bachmann went to see you. What do you think?
Well, I think she's a really lovely woman, and we had a great conversation. She's very smart. She's doing a really good job. She's really working hard. In fact, I was saying, take it easy, relax, have a good life. The fact is she's working very, very hard, and she's a very good woman.
Was she what you expected, or were you impressed a little bit more, or was it not quite what you thought?
I've actually known her, and I've met her before, and she was up to Trump Tower about 2 months ago, and I think she's out there really working hard. She's involved with Iowa. She's involved very strongly with New Hampshire. And, I'm impressed with her. And I'm impressed. I must tell you, I've had a lot of visits from a lot of people. And I can tell you that Governor Romney, very impressive. Rick Perry, he's a terrific guy with a great record. And I know he's having a hard time with the debates. And he's the first to admit that. But I mean, really a terrific person. Herman Cain, who I spoke to yesterday, terrific person. And, the job he's done is amazing. I mean, if you think about it, it's amazing. So I've met with some fine people.
But this is not a miscongeniality
contest. That is correct.
All right. So you say that here's what, let me tell you what I'm a little suspicious of in terms of which way you're leaning. As you tweeted the other day after the most recent debate, you added that Romney did very well in the debate, and you keep telling me you always seem to go back to Governor Romney. But here's the thing that's sort of curious to me. Why are Governor Romney's numbers static? It doesn't seem like he doesn't get a bounce when Governor Christie gets out of the race, and it doesn't seem like he gets any bounces out of any of these events.
Well, you're right. I was surprised because I thought he did really well in the debate. I thought Herman Cain did very well in the debate, too. But Mitt doesn't seem to really be getting much of a bounce. And I think a lot of people don't know him. I think a lot of people maybe don't understand him. But he doesn't seem to do well in the Republican primary. Now, if you look at his numbers overall, he's doing quite well, but he's got to get out of the primary. And in the Republican primary, I mean, he's doing okay, but he doesn't get the kind of bounce you would think. When somebody gets out or when somebody goes down, you'd think he'd get more numbers and higher numbers than he's getting.
Well, which brings me to my next question, is that in the event he is the nominee, President Obama and his campaign are being loaded for bear. They're making a lot of money. They've got a lot of things to sort of challenge him on. For instance, the national health care, which the Republican Party, many in the Republican Party have been adamant they want to get rid of it. But for better or for worse, even some of his advisors in Massachusetts helped President Obama's administration fashion the national one. So that may be something, maybe a hard sell to a lot of Republicans.
I really think it's going to be about the economy. I think it's going to be about jobs. I really think that issue is being overplayed at this point. And, I think Governor Romney's explained it to a fairly well. I really believe, Greta, it's going to be about jobs and who's going to be the best president. And honestly, Obama, if he continues to do the job he's doing and if the economy continues to be as bad as it, and it is very bad, but continues to be as bad as it is, I think he's going to have a very, very hard time beating certain of the Republican candidates.
All right, you say it's about jobs. One thing that's always sort of curious in following what's going on of the Obama administration, if Governor Romney is the nominee, I think they're going to run at him hard for his work. He's been very successful, made a lot of money. Doesn't necessarily mean that he's a job creator. And I think they're going to go back to see whether or not any of the companies he bought in the 80s at Bain Capital, whether or not they added jobs or whether he dismantled them to make them more efficient. I'm not so sure that this is going to be a smooth sail if he's the nominee on jobs.
The biggest problem, when you're very successful and you've had a great career, you've done a lot of things, and as he says, some good, some bad, but mostly good. And the fact is that you have a lot of things that people can shoot at because you've been a productive person. You've worked hard, and even good deals they can shoot. I mean, he buys a company, and maybe he got rid of some people because he had to make the company better or had to save the company or whatever. So he did things. With Obama, he never did anything. If you look, I mean, the only thing he did is buy a house. He never did anything, Greta. So there's nothing to criticize. Now, the house you can criticize because if you look at the way he bought that house, that is a very, very suspect deal, and people should look at it. The fact is, the only deal he ever made in his life is he bought a house. So you can't criticize him because he bought 37 different companies and employed tens of thousands of people. There's nothing to criticize, and it's very unfair. And I've always said, it's very hard for a very successful person to get elected because even your good deals, they can criticize.
All right. I understand there are a couple of categories. One is who you might think would be the best candidate or the best president or the best representative of a particular party. But let me ask you, who do you think the Obama administration most fears in a general election? Who would give him just not on ultimately being a president, but just on purely strategy and give him the biggest run for his money?
Well, I think the one they most disliked was Donald Trump, because nobody hit him like I did, because I told the truth, and nobody hit them, and I've heard that from so many different people, and so have you. The one they most disliked is me, and I'm honored by it, because he's not doing the job. And I wish he would do the job. I would love it if he'd do the job. I'd be his biggest supporter if he'd do the job. He's not doing the job.
Who's number two now? Donald Trump's not.
I don't want to say, because honestly, it's too early for me to say. At the appropriate time, I'm going to be saying, but it's too early for me to say. And I will say this. I spoke yesterday with Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina, and I love what he's doing with respect to China. They're putting bills in because they're trying to fight the Chinese curse. And honestly, he should be given more support. Now, his bill passed, but he's got to be given support, because it's the first time I'm seeing somebody go out and fight. I call it the Chinese curse, because what they're doing to this country is unbelievable.
What would a President Donald Trump do about Iran in light of this terrorist plot that has been thwarted but apparently leads all the way up to the high leadership in Iran?
Well, the problem we have with Iran is they no longer respect us as a country. They know we're dying to get out of Iraq, and that's fine, and we should be. But as I said, we should take the oil. We should absolutely take the oil. I mean, we're spending $1.5 trillion in Iraq, and we get nothing. Iraq has the second largest oil fields of the world, and we should reimburse ourselves. We should reimburse all of the families that have lost children, fabulous, fabulous men and women lost. And what are they getting out of it? It's just a disgrace. We should.
I'm talking about Iran, not Iraq. Iran.
No, but I'm saying Iran is going to take over the oil fields of Iraq, and they're going to take over Iraq. And the reason they're going to do that is very simple. They have absolutely no respect for the United States. And that's why when they send the people in, as they did yesterday, as we found out, it's really a lack, as Rodney Dangerfield would say, a lack of respect for our country.